out of Minnesota and where it fits in with what I call the declining credibility of DOJ under this administration.
Absolutely. That is something that indeed you worry about, which is how was this presented to the grand jury? What were they told? There's evidence that came out in Chicago about true misconduct there that you can read about in the grand jury transcripts. But I think there's something else in addition to all that, which is what I would ask Todd Blanche at his confirmation hearing upcoming for the top job for being Attorney General. He's just acting right now. And that is, can you tell me, Mr. Blanche, why you're so concerned about what these people did in protesting ICE? And let's assume they're guilty. Let's assume they engaged in this conduct. How does this compare to the protests on January 6th, where those people were pardoned, where you have called that a grave national injustice? Can you explain to me why you are bringing a case against ICE protesters when you have said that for conduct that is at least as egregious, and I think many people listening to this would say more egregious, because of the true assault on police officers, why you call that a grave national injustice? Doesn't that speak to exactly what the law prohibits, which is vindictive and selective prosecution?
Yeah. And of course, people ask where is the line and how much has to happen. Well, one of the lines in Minneapolis was by the time 2 Americans were killed, Trump reportedly in the New York Times and elsewhere was saying, well, he didn't like the headlines. He didn't, according to at least those quotes, summon moral concern about whether his government was killing Americans needlessly. But he didn't like the headlines, and a lot did change, at least in the operation. That subject also came up, so take a listen to this, the U.S. Attorney being asked about the legal standing there.
People still have questions as to why there isn't any prosecution or any charges filed against the officers who shot and killed Renee Good or the officers who shot and killed Alex Parker.
Those investigations are ongoing. They are ongoing in the way that proper federal law enforcement investigations ought to proceed. They will proceed to their completion.
Andrew?
Well, that's somewhat news because the Department of Justice has not advanced that they're going forward with their own independent investigation. And certainly, let's assume that they are. Let's just take let's take him at his word. One of the things that they are not doing is they are not sharing any of their evidence with the state and locals that are investigating those 2 shootings. And I would remind people that although Minnesota has been sort of calmed down in terms of ICE is doing things now that are less visible, that does not bring back the life of Alex Preddy or the life of Renee Good. And just because you do it in a quieter way that doesn't get national attention doesn't mean it's still not going on, nor does it make amends for what's happening. And just to continue sort of my theme, if Todd Blanche were in front of us now, I would ask him, why, on God's green earth, are you withholding